En dan gaan we naar het volgende dat er op de planning staat in Studio Shift.
I wish I made that.
Een nieuw stuk dat er bij vorige edities van Studio Shift niet was. En iets waar ik eigenlijk zelf bijzonder naar uitkijk. Want het gaat een paar keer iets heel moois opleveren, denk ik. Een moment waarop we eigenlijk met mensen van In The Pocket gaan kijken naar een product dat we zelf graag hadden gemaakt of aan hadden meegewerkt. Omdat het zo goed is of zo mooi of zo inspirerend. Omdat het iets heel erg goed is. Goedemiddag, Bo.
Hey, dat werd.
Van In The Pocket. Hoe gaat het om te beginnen? Als goed?
Ja, super.
Zit hier een beetje in het zonnetje, hè? Dus op
Mooie
zich.
dag.
Ja, voilà. Het is dat. Jouw favoriete product is Cowboy.
Mm-hmm.
De fietsen, voor wie even zou twijfelen. Er staat ook al eentje letterlijk voor onze studio. Waarom Cowboy en wie heb je meegebracht om daarover te praten?
Cowboy is gewoon een super mooie ontworpen fiets en app die perfect samenwerken. En veel collega's van mij hebben de fiets, dus ik vertegenwoordig hun allemaal. Ik kijk er wel naar op, omdat het gewoon zo mooi gedesigned is. Heel veel custom onderdelen en zo. Ik heb Melanie mee. Hi Melanie, welcome
Hello.
to the studio. Maybe you could introduce yourself first.
Yeah, sure. First of all, thanks a lot for having picked us. It's awesome to see that you love our product. When you work on it every day, it feels so great to hear that kind of feedback. My name is Melanie. I'm working as a product manager there. I'm working at Cowboy for a bit more than 4 years now. And I joined when the company was like really that little startup. I was the 10th employee. We just launched the first product. We were present only in Belgium. And now we are more than 100 employees present in 12 countries. It's the fourth model of our bike. So definitely a lot of evolution.
Great to be that early in a company like that.
Yeah,
to be
exactly.
So impactful. Okay. I think you've done a really good job in making a well-designed bike that's integrated, hardware and software. You don't often see that. Maybe you could tell us about the unique insight on which the company was founded in like a market filled with e-bikes that look like a battery bolted on a classic bike.
Yeah, so some of the founders worked in food delivery companies, and they were surprised to see that there were so few people delivering the foods that were having an e-bike, while it was the most efficient way to move in a city. And so this is really how it started. They wondered, well, how come so few people actually use it? And what they found out is that it really had an image of a bike for grandpas, and it was not really appealing towards a younger audience. And why? It's mainly because it's like not really visually appealing, like very bulky, very heavy, very expensive as well. And so what I wanted to do is just start again from like a blank sheet and design the bike that they would like to have, basically. So really nicely integrated, good looking. It's really like we put design like very high on the list when
you can tell.
when we make the bike. Also with a price point that is more affordable.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so Cowboy bikes are really a combination of hardware and software. Can you maybe tell us a bit more about the idea as the app being the center of the experience?
Yeah, so from the beginning, it's really a choice we made. We wanted to design a connected bike. So first, what we want to do is try to make the experience of users on the road as easy as possible, thanks to the app. So you can use it to unlock your bike, to change your settings. Digital is not only the app, it's also the firmware that runs on the bike, so we can also control the right feeling. And this is also part of the connected aspect of the bike, and we definitely care a lot about that.
Yeah, I think when you read reviews, that's one of the main points, like the natural assistance of this bike is like a big USP, right?
Yeah, exactly. When you talk to people, what they always talk about is first design and then second right feeling is the two main common things we hear. Then another big purpose of the app is to make your bike secure. So if someone steals your bike, he cannot unlock it because there is no button. You really need to be logged on the app and have an account to be able to turn it on. And also, if it gets stolen, the app is the way for you to be able to track it. So security is really important. Then also safety on the road. So we have a feature that's called crash detection that basically detects when you might be involved in an accident and warns your contact. Mm-hmm. Another big purpose of the app is just to make you excited to ride your bike a bit more. And this is where all the data we have come into play. So we try to show you like the rides you've been doing. You can keep track of your personal records, like what was the fastest 10 kilometer you've ever ridden, for instance. You get some rewards. If you achieve certain milestones, you can also compare with other people in some leaderboards. And finally, it's also a good way to have a good support. So if you ever need help, you just chat with the team through the app. You can easily set up an appointment. So it's also the way to go if you need some help or just need to get your bike maintained over time.
So I guess I could summarize that the mission of Cowboy is giving riders really a total experience.
Exactly.
And maybe you could talk a bit about the turn-by-turn direction mode that you have in the app and what the thinking behind that was.
Yeah, so when you use your bike, you need to go to a place. Very often you know that place, so you don't really need navigation, but in a significant percent of the time, you also need to go to a new place. You don't know the route, so we wanted to integrate navigation in our app, even though there are other apps that exist for it, because we think it's just a better experience to not have to switch to something else. Like if you use your bike, one of the main things you want to do with it is commute to new places.
Yeah, and you have all sorts of data also that help you in finding a better route. Could you maybe talk about that? How you are different from, let's say, Google Maps?
So actually finding the best path from one place to another is really difficult. So it's not something you can do with a really small backend team like we do. So what we did is really a choice. Like this is typically the kind of things you need to externalize. You need to use other tools that exist. So in our case, we use Mapbox for that. We also use other free tools that can provide you routes from different points, and then we use all of that, and we pick the best one, basically. But then over time, what we want to do is obviously further improve that. And in the upcoming months, I think the navigation is going to become better and better. I cannot say too much about it, but...
No sneak peeks. Damn it.
Not even a little bit, Melanie?
Sorry?
Not even a little bit? No, it's okay. It's okay. Melanie, every guest on Studio Shift gets to pick a song they like very much. Which one would you like?
Yeah, I picked Oscar and the Wolf. Breathing.
Why that one?
Because I really like that singer. He's Belgian, so I was thinking, yeah, why not?
Okay. Is it a good song to bike to? I haven't tried it.
Yeah, it's a good song. Breathing. It's perfect.
A good song. Yeah. I get it.
I'm not sleeping, I'm not leaving here for you, but I'm not breathing, I'm not sleeping, I'm not leaving here for you, but I'm not breathing, I'm not sleeping, I'm not leaving here for you. Can't you see that it's in the air now? You're all I know forevermore, and it's in the air now. You're all I need, why can't you see that it's in the air now? But it's in the air, but it's in the air now. But it's in the air now. So don't go around don't take it serious. I know you don't take it serious. But I'm not breathing, I'm not sleeping, I'm not leaving here for you. But I'm not breathing, I'm not sleeping, I'm not leaving here for you. You are my heart lost in a star. You'll love me soon up on the moon and oh my. You are my heart lost in a star, now am I down? Yeah.
Oscar and the Wolf and Breathing.
Yeah, hi Melanie, welcome back. You know, as a brand, as a biking brand, I think you go a bit further than classic brands in accommodating your customers and making the riding experience great. So maybe you could give us a glimpse of how you involve user feedback or user data in evolving your roadmap.
Yeah, so we do a lot of interviews of our users regularly. Just sometimes like randomly or when we build new stuff, and we always try to cover like what they would like to see happening, what are their wishes. And then there are obviously like other source of information, like, you know, the product reviews, the ratings they leave in the app. So we always take a look at that as well. And it can help us give some, have some ideas basically. So one idea that we implemented recently that I think is interesting is the wireless charger that we have in the cockpit. And actually how it all started is not people asked for a wireless charger. What they asked for initially was a USB charger on the bike. Mm-hmm. And I think it's really a good example of how you should listen to your customers. I think what you should do is always understand the problem, the pain, and here what they wanted to do is basically being able to charge their phone on the bike. Why? Because when you navigate, navigation is what can consume a lot of battery on your phone. And also, we use the app to use the bike, so they want to be sure that they keep their battery top up.
Mm-hmm. So it's another example, I guess, of like the integration. You observed people, of course, using the app on their phone on the bike, so mounting it on the cockpit or the steering wheel, right? And now you went one step further in integrating that quad lock system and a wireless charger.
Directly on the bike, yeah. And like the part on the bike is mounted by default, and then you can also buy directly on a website the case for your phone.
Yeah, okay. And I guess not all phones support wireless charging, but you were confident enough to say like our audience does have those kind of phones.
Exactly, and that's where data comes into play, because we could look at, okay, like what are the users who bought a bike in the last 6 months, and we analyzed like what was the percentage of them that had a phone compatible with wireless charger. In our case, it was more than 70%, so we thought that it was definitely worth it.
Yeah. Okay, great. What other examples do you have of maybe using data? Like how is your product used in evolving some features?
Yeah, so we also use it to iterate on a feature. Like previously, I talked about crash detection, so being able to detect when you fall with your bike. And the way it works is when we detect that, we ask you to react in a minute. You can dismiss it if you want, to not warn for nothing the people you love. And then in the end, we also ask you, okay, actually, what happened? Did you really fall with your bike? Did you get injured? And we keep track of these data, and it's going to help us reduce the false positive, because we can really know in which situation it was actually the person actually didn't fall, and we keep track of what were the sensors saying like in the seconds before that, so it can help us actually improve the algorithm and iterate on a feature.
Yeah, because I think when you're planning a feature like that as a product manager, it's quite difficult to generate data on crashes, right? So I guess that's a prime example of integrating user data into improving those kind of features.
Yeah. Totally.
Cool. So you talked about crash detection, anti-theft. You also have these support and insurance programs around it. Maybe you could talk about what is unique about them versus other ones?
Yeah, so we have 2 subscriptions that cover the main 2 problems, let's say, that people have. So the first one is that they're afraid of having their bike stolen, so we offer theft insurance. The second one is a subscription to maintain your bike, and we want everything to be seamless and to be nicely integrated in the app. And I think when we also talk about support, we really want it to be as seamless as possible. And what I feel is quite unique about our brand is that you have a direct contact with the company that does that, and also directly through the app super easily. So you just send a message to the team, you explain like what kind of issue you have, and then remotely what they will do is look at your bike, see what's going on. Like for instance, they can see if there are some error messages that were raised on your bike. They can ask you to do something specifically, and then look at what is the data that they have. And so it helps us remotely understand what's going on and then ship you the right parts for you or send you a technician at your place. And so we cover like everywhere. Like if you need support, we really go everywhere.
You come to your customers'
Yeah.
houses or jobs.
Yeah, we have
Cool.
2 showrooms, one in Brussels, one in Berlin. But then otherwise, if you don't live there, we just send you someone, typically within a couple of days.
Okay, cool. I think that's USP of your brand, to having both the data and the option to diagnose problems, and actually having better hardware perhaps that is more performant. Maybe, I mean, those are the advantages of having a connected product, but there could also be some disadvantages. Maybe users could be a bit worried about buying a connected product for the long term. Maybe you could talk a bit about how you offer features for when you don't have an internet connection, or when you don't have battery in your phone, perhaps. How do you use the product then?
Yeah, so the way that you unlock your bike is simply via Bluetooth. So you don't need to be connected to internet. Even if our servers are down, it would still work. You can still unlock your bike. So that's important to know. And then also, like if really like your phone is completely dead, we allow you to turn on your bike by removing the battery and then plug it back in. So that's also like the ultimate fallback in case something goes wrong.
Yeah, and that helps in reassuring some users, I guess.
That was the purpose. Like we heard that some people were worried to buy a bike that they can only use with a phone. And so what we wanted to tell them is actually, well, you shouldn't be worried, because worst case, you can still turn it on and go for a ride.
Yeah. Okay, so you started, I think, 4 years ago, something like that, just with a laser focus on one bike, one model, even in one color, in one country, let's say. How has the product family evolved, and what did you add, and why was that?
Yeah, so at the beginning, we made the conscious decision to start with just one product. So just one bike, one size, one color, no accessories. And we were a bit criticized for it, but I think at the beginning, it's really the right way to go, because what you want to do is just make sure that the product is right, that you can support it, that if there are some issues in the production, you can react like super fast. So you should definitely start with one product and get it right, and then you start to expand, which is what we did. So we expanded geographically, we added more accessories and started with the main ones, like mudguards went first, for instance. Then we also added more colors, and then last year we also added another type of frame, which is the bike that you can see here that has an open frame. And so we don't really describe it as like a man and a woman's bike. The way we describe it is more like a sport bike, and this is more a comfort bike, and it's appealing both to women and men. Actually, there are plenty of men who also prefer this type of bikes because the position is more straight, the grips are more comfortable, the saddle is more comfortable, it's more easy to jump on it. They also think that they can more easily share it in their family as well. So yeah,
That way you've managed to make a more inclusive bike, I think. So not labeling it as female or male.
It's
either
more like
in
the type of
colours.
feeling you're looking for. Do you look for like the sporty feeling, or do you just want to chill and be a bit more comfortable on the road?
And so you prefer this one as well.
I like both, actually. Yeah, I have one of each. But this one, yeah, it's super comfortable. Yeah, especially on the pavements in the center of Brussels.
Maybe you could go into the growing pains at the start. Like scaling up a hardware business is maybe one of the most challenging businesses, I think. Let's not forget it's also a connected product. What were the main challenges in scaling the first years, let's say?
I think getting the production right, making sure that we can produce the bags, especially recently with COVID, it was very difficult to get the parts we needed and on time. So actually producing the bag was a big challenge. And recently as well, I think it was the pricing, which was a challenge because of the raise of the raw materials prices. So the price got also adapted. I think those were recent challenges we had, but it's definitely going better now.
Yeah, you are going in directions of motivating riders also to be more exercising, using their bike more often than not. Maybe you could give us some example of features that are in the app that try to motivate people picking up their bike more than they would used to. Yeah,
first of all, maybe it might sound surprising to some people that riding an e-bike is actually good for your health and is exercising. But I can tell you it definitely is. Like if you go for a ride and measure your heart rate, you will see that your heart rate goes up and that you're really exercising. And something interesting too is that there are some studies who proved that people who have an e-bike actually use it more than people who have a normal bike. Why? It's because we reduce a bit the barriers. You feel like it's easier. So eventually you take it more often and you also ride longer. So it has a big impact. And what we want to do is show that to people, like show that it actually adds up and at the end of the day, it impacts their health. So we show them like what's their moving time, what's their total distance, and we try to make it a bit more fun by showing you some stats about your effort, making you win some achievements, like we keep track of your personal record, as I said, like best 10K, like highest power you delivered, what was your top speed, and it makes it more fun. And then you can also compare to others. So we have leaderboards in the app, and you can join some groups. So for instance, I guess there is one in Ghent. You can join it. It's optional, so if you don't want it, you don't have to. But you can, and then it's great to see that there are people around you. You see what you're ranking. It motivates you to ride more, and it's also just fun to compare. Like, if I want, I can check, like, hey, what's the person above me doing? What's their top speed? What's their best 10K? And it's just makes the experience more fun. It's not for everyone, but there is definitely a percentage of customers who are really into it and are going to love it.
Okay, cool. Cool to hear. Thanks a lot for all the input. I'm speaking for all the fans here of the product. So, gives us a good idea. Thanks a lot.
Melanie, thank you for being here today at Studio Shift. You already picked your song, so I'm going to ask Bo to pick his song now. But wat mag het voor jou nog zijn?
Ik ben al fan van Stavros. Ze zijn ook supergoed live. Ze zijn ook van Gent en omstreken. Ze zijn bekender in het buitenland dan in België zelfs. Maar is organic electro, heb ik ergens gehoord.
Oké, is goed. Dat wordt de komende minuten. Bo, Melanie, thank you again and have a nice Tuesday.